Hello, everybody. I'm here with Joe, the president and CEO of Pampa Metals, and we're in Colombia. We thought we'd just update everyone on what's happening with Pampa Metals. Project Argentina, Piuquenes, how's it been this drill season?
Yeah, so I think last time we had a chat was not long after we'd announced the rugby transaction. So that's the script-based deal whereby Pampa will acquire rugby and its Cobrasco and Mantal projects. As Jordan mentioned, we're obviously here in Colombia at the moment, heading out to Quibdó tomorrow to work on Cobrasco. And that sort of comes as we're winding down things for the season at Piuquenes in San Juan. So since we last spoke, there have been some fairly significant developments at Piuquenes project more broadly. So the objectives for this season were to try and step out mineralization at Piuquenes Central, which was the high grade copper gold rich porphyry system that we drilled last season for the first time at Piuquenes, to try and step that out and meaningfully grow the size and volume of that deposit. And at the same time to drill test Piuquenes East, which is a standalone independent porphyry system that had been undrilled up until now. So we've completed 5 drill holes this season for about 4,500 meters. And 2 of those holes were at Piuquenes East, 3 of those at Piuquenes Central. So I think we've finished the season with a very, very strong wide interval of high grade copper gold mineralization at Piuquenes Central. That has achieved the objective of extending the high grade zone, which is relatively shallow. And as I mentioned, very, very strong copper gold grades there. For me personally, I think the biggest news for the season is our success at Piuquenes East, where we've, made a discovery with our very first drill hole.
Very important one to discuss because, like you said, first drill hole into this target. We knew about the target for a while there, geophysical anomaly, and obviously Alta North has a few drill holes in it.
Piuquenes East is a standalone outcropping stockwork zone at the on the Piuquenes property. It's about 800 meters from Piuquenes Central. So we are talking some distance, it's a different system. Or I should say that was something we're always pretty confident about, that it wasn't the same system. We were talking about a sort of a standalone target, and that was supported by geophysics, geochem, and, stockworks at surface. The other lead indicators there were the historical drill holes at Altar North. So Altar North drill holes were completed over 10 years ago, about 130 meters only to the south of the Piuquenes tenure boundary with Altar, and about 700 meters from the first drill hole that Pampa put down at Piuquenes East. The first hole has intersected what I consider to be very, very strong grade over an interval of 300 meters. The sort of standout high grade zone within that is 98 meters from 292 meters, if I'm not mistaken, at 0.49 copper, 0.16 gold, which I think for a discovery hole is, an incredible result. And we're very, very happy with that.
What has been the discussion around following up that discovery at Piuquenes East?
So, where we're at today, it's mid-May now. The drill rigs are just retreating from site. We probably have a good few months ahead of us where we need to interpret these results. So 4,500 meters of drilling is, fairly significant. And 1,500 meters of that was at Piuquenes East. We've also done a 2-phase field mapping exercise, spectral analysis, a lot of geochem, as well as some astroimagery reviews of the broader property. So there's quite a lot of work that we need to do this off season. And I think in order to, properly design an exploration program at Piuquenes East, we're likely going to need some complementary geophysics, which we'll look to do at the very start of next season. So I think it's probably a bit too early to say exactly what we intend on, doing. But I think there's a very strong prospect there which is, very unique from the Piuquenes central target. Namely, we're talking about a different style system. We're talking about hundreds of meters of brecciated rock with, gold values throughout them. So I think there is still a lot of work to be done to try and better understand that system. But looking forward to next season and getting back on site. I think something that is very important to drive home here is that the Piuquenes property is about 2,500 hectares. It's a very significant land holding in a very strategic address with a number of, giant copper deposits. So Piuquenes Central itself is a minuscule portion of the overall property, as is Piuquenes East. So we think we've got a fantastic land holding in an incredible address, and there's a lot of work to be done to fully explore the broader property. The next step for us, in addition to further drilling at Piuquenes Central and Piuquenes East, is going to be property-wide geophysics, both mag and IP. And I say that because there's 2 mineralized porphyries confirmed at Piuquenes. There's 7 odd at Altar. Our view is that there may well be others on the Piuquenes property.
Right, can we move over to the reason we're in Colombia and discuss Cobrasco, because there's a lot of people interested in Cobrasco and what's happening there. You've been pretty busy in these last few days, and this is your second visit this year. What's the latest?
Yeah, sure. So look, second visit this year, although I spent about 8 years here previously. The Cobrasco project, as we all know, is a large target that has had very, very strong results from their first 3 drill holes. The project has stalled for various reasons, and the opportunity came along for Pampa to acquire a scrip-based deal, Rugby, and through that acquisition, the Cobrasco project. The underlying rationale there is that we think it's a incredibly strategic, high-value option on a underexplored belt here in Colombia. Unlike San Juan, it's less developed when it comes to access and the presence of majors. So a lot of work's been going on over the last few months with respect to the community side of things, and also making sure we put together the best team possible in order to, give ourselves the best chances of success here in Colombia over the long term. As we've discussed before, what Cobrasco is comprised of is a mining contract. So Cobrasco have solid tenure here in Colombia. They also have a consulta previa, a community access agreement with the Afro-Colombian community, and a environmental license which has been approved by Codechoco, the provincial or department level environmental agency. So the work that's gone on over the last few months has simply been around trying to get the right team together and engage all the stakeholders. As I said, we want to do this right, and we want to be here for the long term and add a lot of value for all stakeholders.
Are we going to be able to recommence drilling there?
Yes, is the short answer. There's no doubt in my mind that that's something we'll achieve in the second half of this year. There's no there's no fundamental long lead items that would prevent us from getting back on site. As I mentioned before, this is just a case of us wanting to do it right and spending the time to do it right.
Why should people buy Pampa stock right now?
Great question. So, when I look at Pampa, I see an incredible proposition from the perspective that you won't find juniors out there that have got 2 high-grade discoveries of strategic copper deposits along the premier copper belt in the world, being the Andean belt, which produces 70-odd% of global copper. So, to find a company like Pampa, I think, is going to be challenging from a evaluation standpoint. We have at Piuquenes confirmed high-grade copper gold mineralization, at least 2 mineralized porphyries with upside across the broader property, We're in a hotbed of corporate activity, fantastic access, fully permitted, and we hit the ground running there, having drilled now about 7,000 metres since we acquired the property. With respect to Cobrasco, we're about to do the same thing again. We'll take possession or ownership, if you like, in July, and we'll immediately get to work and quickly advance exploration there, further validate the size and grade potential at Cobrasco. Our market capitalisation at the moment, 27 odd million Canadian. I think that's an incredibly compelling opportunity, and I just don't think there's many opportunities like that out there.